We didn't get the national emergency declaration like we thought we would. We may still get it. Our fearless leader either forgot the plan or chickened out, I don't know which, but they're still going to go there. They're not into a big panic yet. They frankly have until November. But if other things around the world are starting to pick up, they may need to do that to keep us out of everybody's way. I'm in the middle of a hike, so I'm trying to cool off a little bit. You don't need to see all my hikes. I'm in a nice rest area here. It rained pretty good yesterday, so it's very humid in the trees, which means it's muggy. Okay. I was talking to somebody a little while ago who claims to be agnostic. For all practical purposes, there's three types of people. You either believe in God, you don't believe in God, or you're sitting on the fence and you're not willing to commit. Frankly, I think an agnostic is someone who believes in God but just doesn't want the responsibility. And so they stay non-committal in hope that nobody will bother them. And in these times, it's going to start bothering. So you got to tell them about what's coming. We're in the early labor pains, I guess, if you will, of this time. It's not bad yet. It could turn on a dime. There's many countries in the world that are on the edge. China's having riots because they don't have enough to go around. Italy just had their leader step down. England doesn't have a leader. Israel doesn't truly have a leader. We don't have a leader here, but that's okay. The puppeteer is still strong. But we're gonna take the step in the wrong direction big time here soon, between now and November. And frankly, these people that are pulling the strings, they're getting tired of waiting. They're used to getting things done like that because they've got money. Go buy me that car and I want it delivered tomorrow or tonight or whatever. Buy me that skyscraper. Whatever it is, they can afford it. They want everything now, so they're going to want to push things. So let's remind people what's coming. I think one of the worst chapters in the Bible for what's coming is Revelation 9. And we're going to look at that here in a little bit. But I think what you want to see is Revelation 8, verse 12. And this, there's plenty of bad stuff before this. But I think this is the worst part. Whoever's surviving the remnant, if they can survive chapter 9, they're done. So let's look at chapter 8, verse 12. Then the fourth angel sounded, and a third of the sun was struck, and a third of the moon, and a third of the stars, and that a third of them were darkened, and a third of the day did not shine, and likewise the night. Signs in heaven and in earth. And I looked and I heard an angel flying through the midst of heaven, saying in a loud voice, Woe, woe, woe to the inhabitants of earth, because of the remaining blast of the trumpet of the three angels who are about to sound. So the previous chapter is warning about chapter 9. It is going to get bad. We should not be here for that, but we want to tell the world about it because they need to basically think about their position of not wanting to make a decision. If they're on the fence, They need to get off the fence. So let's go ahead and start in verse 9, chapter 9, verse 1. And this will be the fifth trumpet. Then the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven to the earth, an angel of some sort. To him was given the key to the bottomless pit. The bottomless pit was created like everything was, in the beginning. This is the godly supermax prison. It is for the worst of the worst. They are so bad that even under God's supervision, they can't be allowed on earth until now. God is basically, he cannot deal anything but love. That's all they can deal with. So he relies on these evil beings to do the punishment. In the Old Testament, a lot of times it was a evil kingdom would come down and conquer parts of Israel or Judah and destroy the city, and Rome was used to destroy the city and the temple. But we're getting to the ends now that he's pulling out all the stops. They won't listen. They cannot see the forest for the trees. So as God steps away, he's letting Satan and his minions have access to people. And he tells them how many they can kill and how many they can't, so they can't go beyond that. But Satan's more than happy to kill people, especially people that don't want to worship him. We're into the parts where we've already seen what he can do. So we're just going to continue on here. And he opened the bottomless pit, and smoke rose out of it, out of the pit like the smoke of a great furnace. So the sun and the air were darkened because of the smoke of the pit. Is this a volcano? I don't know. Could be. It said a bottomless pit. If there was an opening, a volcanic opening down to the center of the earth, would that be considered a bottomless pit? I don't know. Maybe it's an opening to another dimension. Maybe, you could speculate till the end comes back. The bottom line, whatever this is, out of it's going to come the worst of the worst. Okay, then out of this smoke, locusts came upon the earth, and to them was given power as scorpions of the earth have power. They were commanded not to harm the grass of the earth or any green thing or any tree, but only those men who do not have the seal of God. What's the seal of God? The Holy Spirit. So these are the non-Christians. They can't harm Christians, so there will be Christians around at this time. There will be Christians that go through the tribulation, but they're going to be ones that didn't take the flight out. Maybe they were the ones that were sitting on the fence like the one I was talking to. And when the Christians are removed, and the whole world's talking about them being picked up by aliens or something, these fence sitters maybe are going to go ahead and get off the fence. Maybe they need something more. Something more is coming to get them to make a decision. Okay, to have the seal of God on their foreheads. Do you see why the Antichrist wants to mark the foreheads? He's a copy. He copies everything that God and Christ do. So he's going to mark foreheads. But anyhow, this is Christians are marked on the forehead. And they were not given authority to kill them, but to torment them. For 5 months. That's a long time. Their torment was like that of a scorpion when it strikes man. In those days, men will seek death and not find it. They want to die. They want to kill themselves. God won't let them. That's how bad it's going to be. And they will desire to die, and death will flee from them. Now, there's been many people speculate what these locusts are. We're talking to people back then that have no idea of modern technology. So are these truly real live locusts? These come out of the bottomless pit. Maybe they were a creature that was created by God that was so mean and bad that God put them in the pit, along with the other fallen angels that are so bad they couldn't be on the earth. We had problems with the fallen angels before. Okay, taking women from the earth. These are the ones that have been down there, along with the really bad one. But anyhow, we'll get to him in a second. So this is the description of these locusts. So are these Apache helicopters? Who knows? They've only been around for a certain time, and maybe there's something better out there now. I don't know. These could be drones. You know, we're in the drone day and age. And they have weapons on drones now, so who knows? It doesn't matter. They're annoying to the people who want to die. Okay, so here's what they are. They are locust-like horses prepared for battle. Horses you would drape armor over them. On their heads were crowns of something like gold, and their faces were like the faces of men. And they had their hair like women's hair, and their teeth were like lions. And they had breastplates of iron. I'm tired from my hike. I can't get my mouth to work. Should have brought a caffeinated drink with me. They had tails like scorpions. There were stings on their tails, and their power was to hurt men for 5 months. And they had as a king over them the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in Hebrew is Abandon, but in Greek the name is Apollyon. You've probably heard of both of those names, but Apollyon is probably the most common one. So one woe is past. There's 3 woes. Behold, 2 more woes are coming after these things. Continuing on in chapter 9, verse 13. And the 6th angel sounded, and I heard a voice of 4 horns of the golden altar which were before God, saying to the 6th angel who had the trumpet, release the 4 angels who are bound at the great river Euphrates. So the 4 angels who have been paired for that hour and day and month and year were released to kill 1/3 of mankind. We've already had 1/4. Now this is 1/3. It's about a half total. Now the number of the army of the horsemen was 200 million. You've heard of that 200 million army? This is where it's from. And thus I saw the horses in the vision. Those who sat on them had breastplates of fiery red, hyacinth blue, and sulfur yellow. Interesting color scheme. And the heads of the horses were like the heads of lions, and out of their mouths came fire and smoke and brimstone. By these 3 plagues, 1/3 of the mankind were killed by the fire and the smoke of the brimstone which came out of their mouths. For by power is in their mouth and in their tails, for their tails are like that of serpents, having heads, and with them they do harm. But the rest of mankind who were not killed by these plagues did not repent of the works of their hands. They should not worship demons and idols of gold and silver and brass and stone and wood, which can neither see nor hear nor walk. They did not repent of their murders or their sorceries or their sexual immoralities or their thefts. So it continues on after all that, and they still wouldn't turn to God. So don't have too much sympathy for those suffering, because they're given chance after chance after chance. Warn people of what's coming. Tell them they don't have a lot of time. I don't know when the rapture is. We know that there's at least 2 wars spoken of that haven't happened yet, that are happening early on before everything else happens. The Jeremiah War, the Magog War. We have those coming up soon. They could come simultaneously. They could be part of the whole thing that they're going to start attacking in multiple fronts. We don't know. Are we going to be here for it? If it's all being fought in the Middle East, the United States is fairly safe. But we're going to have our own trouble. The harlot is slowly taking over here, and the harlot will put us under her thumb. At some point, the Antichrist will kill the harlot and put us under his thumb. So it is not pleasant to be around after we get raptured. Now, is everybody raptured? There's mixed translations on that. Are we in the tribulation, or is it yet to start? There's mixed translations on that. Be open to either, and don't condemn the opposite. Nobody can 100% say they have it. Only a prophet would know for sure, and we don't have any prophets down here yet, at least any that are stepping out. I think our 2 witnesses are alive, and they may already be working, and we just haven't seen it. But their actual ministry in Jerusalem hasn't started yet. But we don't have a temple either. Maybe they're going to be responsible for getting the temple built. Maybe the Antichrist is. There are so many variations in the interpretation. It's all about to happen. Let's see, this is July, end of July, August, September, October, November, August, September, October. That's 4 months to our election. They're going to pull something on or before the election. They've been debating this week whether they're going to pull something, declaring a national emergency. We really don't have one. They're going to make it up and then declare a national emergency, give the president full power. I suspect Biden may even die this year. I don't know. He's not looking good. They claim he got COVID, and then they changed it and said he didn't. And then they said it doesn't matter. It doesn't mess with their narrative. But it might be a reason for him to die if he does get it bad enough. But he's got all the shots and he's getting all the medicine that they say is not good for us. Because they're lying to us just like they always do. Be ready. Keep getting the word out. Tell people what's coming. Share this video so people know it's going to get so bad that people are going to try to die and God won't let them. Some will get their wish. Earlier, we saw where 1/4 of mankind was killed. Here in 9, we see where 1/3 of mankind, of those that are left, were killed. Roughly, that's half of the world population of 8 billion. That's 4 billion dead. Okay. The harlot wants, according to their 2030, like 500 million to be left on the earth because they can be easily manipulated and controlled. It's too hard to control billions of people. 500 million, they think they can handle that. Of course, Satan thinks he can handle that. The ultimate leader. And through the Antichrist, he's going to pretend to be the Christ. He's going to have a human being on earth just like God sent Jesus down here to be a human being on earth. Nothing new from Satan. He just copies. And then he can kind of use some of the same scriptures to fool people. He's a cheap copy. But he's going to be able to do signs and wonders. So you're going to see those. And our two witnesses are going to be able to do signs and wonders too. So those of you that haven't seen them, I almost wish that we could stay for some of that, so I could watch and see the signs and wonders, because I've never seen any. Oh, I've seen miracles. I see them all the time. But signs and wonders like they had in the Old Testament times, where they could turn the river blood red, where they could call out the locusts, or they could call out the Passover day. Frogs, turn the staff into a snake. And of course, Pharaoh's religious leaders or priests turned their staffs into snakes, and then Moses' snake staff ate their snakes and then turned back into a staff. So God's always more powerful, but God's not going to be doing anything except for maybe the two witnesses. The Antichrist is going to have the full power of Satan behind him. And Satan is the ruler of this world. Adam and Eve put him in charge. It's going to get tough. You need to make sure that you strengthen yourself. Read the Bible daily. Study. Pray daily. Pray for your friends and family. Pray for me in this channel. Pray for other channels if you watch them. If you're going to church, pray for everyone there. Keep everyone in prayer. If you have to, write all this stuff down so you don't rely on your memory. Be doing this. Be diligent. Stay in it as much as you can. If you play video games, that's time you're not using to help God. Think about it. If you're watching movies and TV, that's time you're not helping God. We're getting down to the wire. Start regulating your time better. We need to help God as much as possible so we can reach as many people as possible. And the more you do, the sooner we're going to get to the end. Because we're going to be down here until the last soul is saved. If no one's willing to talk to them, we're going to be down here forever. Because God won't leave one. So you need to make sure we get out there and get to everybody. If you don't talk to at least one person a day about God, you're not doing your job. Now, you don't have to go out. You could do it on a phone. Most churches have a phone ministry. There's lots of things you can do. If you can't leave the house, there's things you can do. You can always help. They do live broadcasts on most of our social media sites. You can join in on those. You can comment on those and be part of that live ministry that's out that particular day. You can help support various ministries. Your church needs donations. We're told to donate. I just created a Patreon account for mine. You can find it in the description down below. I need help too because I'm reaching my limit of what I can do. And I'm being attacked now. YouTube is beginning to cut back. The number of viewers on each video is cut in half. And those of you that are still watching and commenting say that it's still the same. Everything's the same. So it has to be the filters. I'm still serving God and doing this, but I'm not reaching as many people. I've created a Telegram page. I'm having to double post, which means I'm a little bit behind right now. I'm trying to get one of my videos up right now that is already up on YouTube. Tomorrow's video is another camping video. I'm doing these camping videos to show you you've got a plan B if you can't afford to live someplace. Go camping. You can camp for 20 bucks a day. That's a lot cheaper. That's $600 a month. That's cheaper than rent. Most rent is $1,200 to $1,800 for a small 1 to 2 bedroom apartment. A house might be a little better if you can find one. They're buying up houses as fast as they can so that you can't own them. The rich people are buying up farmland across the Midwest. Bill Gates just bought a bunch of land, thousands of acres. You're not going to be able to own anything. There's going to be two classes of people, the high and mighty and the slaves. king and the serfs, the king and the pawns. That's all that's going to be left. There will be no middle class. You will be fully dependent upon the government. And when they go to cryptocurrency, they're going to ask you to get a mark. Sign allegiance to the beast. He's got almost 100 names, I think. The Antichrist is sufficient for now. Be ready. Be involved. Start helping out. Like I said, if everybody on this page, I've still got over 1,800 subscribers, if everybody subscribed for $1, that would pay for all the stuff I need permanently. In fact, I'd probably get too much stuff. If half of you donated $5, that would be more than I need. Help this ministry out so I can do all the things that I need. And I'm trying to get myself fully moved over to Telegram. I've only started posting videos there. I can't get my videos down off of YouTube right now. I don't have a program to do that. I did when I was on, when I had my workstation. I had a program to do it, but I can't do it on my phone. There's not an app out there that will let me do it. If you know of one, let me know. But frankly, going forward is more important than looking back. I'm going to continue to support the same theme as we go forward. And there's going to be more evidence popping up around us that I can reference that I couldn't reference 6 months ago. All right. Help out. Do your own thing too. And if you're busy doing your own thing full time, don't spend your time helping others. If you don't have something to do, find some ministries that are online that you can help. Even your church, if you're not going to church, they have a website. You can still donate. And if you don't have enough, if you're struggling, pray. Include us on your prayer list. Write the prayer list down. If somebody asks you to pray, write it down and what they're praying for. And include that every day when you're praying for it. And be sure to check back to see how they're doing. Checking back will show that you have faith, because sometimes they don't have the faith. They're asking for prayers because they don't have the faith. But if your faith can do it, that can prove to them that getting together and sharing your burdens with others is the right thing to do. All right, we need to basically, there's no time for goofing off now. We've had lots of time to do that. Focus on the end game. It's going to get bad. And it's not going to take very long. We saw where that chapter 9 looks like it's 5 months long. There isn't that much. God does things fast when he puts the pedal down. We know that they're going to shorten the days too. The really bad stuff is in the second half. The seals are in the first part, but the second half is where the bad stuff like this is. He's going to shorten the days as well. And some may have to go through it because they haven't made up their mind. And they won't make up their mind until it's too late to get the free ride. Pay attention. God wants you on his team. Get off the fence. We just read in Revelation what God thinks about lukewarm believers. They make God sick. You want to be known for that? Be on his side. Even if you're a weak Christian, you're better off than if you're a non-Christian. Now, you'd be like the Galatians, but that's okay. They got a letter. All right. Keep the faith. Keep praying. Keep reading the Bible. Put more time each day into doing something for God. Because when we get right down to the wire, when he comes back, him finding us working for him will please him. And you don't know what time he's coming. Okay, until we meet in the clouds. Could be any time, but I think it's going to be in the next few months. things are going to really get bad. Okay, take care. Thanks for your support. Thanks for your prayers. Blessings, everyone.